Considering moving down the road from my ex-wife and toddler, but new GF hates the idea. I am separated from my wife, moved out 3 months ago. We will be divorcing officially in February, but due to the time required aren't divorced yet. Been officially separated since Dec but didn't put it into writing till Feb, so that's the official 1-year mark. I've been dating a new girl for a little over 3 months now and she keeps worrying about my relationship with my ex. Edit. Since several people are making false assumptions. Maybe the timeline isn't the wisest, but there was no infidelity. We separated December 2022, I moved out July 2023, and started dating GF a few days later. It was close, yes, but certainly no cheating. Key things to note are my ex and I have a very young daughter together, she's 2, and I still co-own the house, but am trying to let her stay there for the sake of her and our daughter if she can figure out how to afford it alone, and just buy me out of my equity. Especially in today's housing market, Ottawa, Canada. I'm currently living in a basement with 2 other random guys, the rooms were listed individually, and looking for a new place with a friend of mine who just moved back to town for work. One of the 2 places is just down the road, 800 half a mile, same street as my old place. It is only our second preference, but it would be very convenient for bringing my daughter to and from between her mom's and my place. GF really doesn't like the idea. To the point of sending me multiple long messages about it, and saying that if I don't understand that then we should break up. She also goes on and on every week or so about not wanting to be the second woman in my life, etc. etc. Like, my ex hates my guts and there's a reason she wanted to divorce. The only reason we have to interact is our daughter, and we are about to start mediation to get our separation agreement drafted and formalized. So a lot of talk about finances and how we will value the house and split it, etc. She has also had to take over the payments and switch them all to her bank as I was paying for everything except for the mortgage. Basically it's only about logistics for separation and our daughter. I told my GF about my daughter and my separation situation on the second date. I was pretty upfront that this is who I am, this is my situation. I clearly stated that my daughter will be my first priority over her, especially while she's this young and at least until I remarry. If I do, I have a whole philosophy about how your spouse should come first before your kids, but that's a whole other irrelevant conversation. I do message back and forth with my ex probably every couple of days, but that's 99% concerning logistics arrangements with our daughter, and the separation process. And my GF knows this. Well, I've told her at least 2-3x, but I haven't actually shown her my phone, but I think she has it in her head that we are just texting like we're friends, or God forbid still texting like we love each other or are flirting. I told her I am going to have to keep interacting with her for at least another 16 years until our daughter is 18, if not longer. Cause then there's paying for post-secondary, any involvement with her getting married someday, her buying a house, grandkids from her, etc. She had me delete all photos of my ex from my phone and I removed them from the cloud, except for photos with our daughter in them too. So all photos of her alone, or with me in them too, are gone. She insists it's not jealousy, but here are some quotes from her. I'm not jealous, it's only that I know the heart of women and their abilities and I try to see the evil from afar while being careful. For me I accept the present and the future, but not the past, because I don't deserve the crumbs. When she offers you things, do you ever think about me and what I might be feeling? I don't think so. I don't want to be around her or vice versa, I want my life to be private. I wish that God takes me away from anything that can extinguish my inner light, which is my joy of living, because I do not deserve to be suffering. I am seriously starting to worry about the future of our relationship, because to me, these seem like signs of emotional instability and insecurity, and probably a lack of maturity. She told me to ask my friends and get them to ask their wives how they would feel. My friends know the situation, but I certainly have no interest in dragging their wives into this. They never really got to have a relationship with my ex and I certainly don't want this to be their first impression of my GF, if this relationship does last. Questions. Anything I should worry about on the living down the road thing? I should state that I don't still love her, and this relationship has really helped me move on. What do you think of my concerns I pointed out? I wonder if she's cut out for being with a man in my situation. Comment. He jumped from one relationship to another with another controlling woman who will never accept his daughter as more than crumbs from his past. If he loves his kid and wants to co-parent in a healthy way, he will leave the cesspool of insecure drama and thank God he found out early in. Take some freaking time to heal and focus on your kid, man. Can you not be alone for a sec? This woman is a red flag card carrying member. See, now my spy day sense was already up and wondering why the ex hated him so much. He said there was no cheating. Growing apart wouldn't make you hate the person. Odds are, had to be some form of abuse. Yep. And now he'll be with this controlling drama queen who will never accept his kid and not encourage a healthy father-daughter relationship. So the ex will cause more drama in turn. The cycle of hate will continue and no one wins again. Poor kid. If there was ever a case for a man to stay single and work on himself a while, this is it. The thing is, I have doubts those are direct quotes from her. I have a feeling they're his versions of what she says, purely because it's very rare that someone as abusive as Op becomes the victim in a relationship just days after their own relationship ended. Controlling people like Op have a very good knack at twisting words and manipulating situations. Yeah, he did. Of what I can remember, I have a memory of a goldfish sometimes. He was in an argument with his wife and he wanted her to shut up and he thought it would be a good idea to cover her mouth, but he hit her hard enough to leave marks/welts. He also talked about how he was a shitty husband throughout their marriage. Yeah. Seeing this makes me think everyone involved needs to get and stay single for a hot minute. 3 months in, this pressure would define the foundation of the relationship, but someone that would gloss over slapping a partner in the face to get them to shut up. Op will forever be an unreliable narrator in the case of their own merits, and I'm willing to wager that new girlfriend is getting pilloried for trying to establish healthy boundaries. I feel bad for the toddler. Also, the way he comments that his ex never had a relationship with his friends and that he's reluctant to let his new woman talk to them. That info sounds a bit odd, either just weirdly worded and there's a good reason that for several years she never knew his friends, or he's isolating his women. Also, he refers to his new 33-year-old partner as a girl. Just all sounds a bit off. It sounds like Op's girlfriend doesn't like being the second woman to his daughter, and wants him to start treating his daughter like a stranger now, which is what she would demand when they get married, as Op has basically said that spouse comes before kids. I disagree with the spouse coming before kids, at least until they are adults. But a spouse can divorce you. I know several who are on their 4th or 5th spouse, and treat their kids like they are acquaintances because of this, even though the kids have been around and continue to stay around, since the person's first marriage to their other parent. I think when they are adults, I think the kids should continue to be thought of, and only if the needs, desires, and wants of the spouse/kids should be put behind the other if these needs/desires/wants harm the other party or the parent. Story 2. My relationship with the love of my life, M43, is being pulled apart by my relationship with my narcissistic mother. For context, my partner and I have been together for 3.5 years, and he's empathetic, supportive, and everything you could ever want in a relationship. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder about 9 months ago, caused by my mother abandoning me when I was 5 after she had an affair with her cousin. Yet they are still together, and live about 4 hours away from me. My dad raised my sister and I, and they both live in NZ. Whilst it's been a very hard year for him and I have been doing intense one-on-one therapy and DBT, and made some great progress. However, the ongoing issue is my relationship with my mom. It's not perfect. She's quite narcissistic, immature, and can be very manipulative. She also drinks way too much and is likely addicted to poker machines. She has apologized to me many times over the years, but I've always been unable to let that hurt go. Almost every single interaction I have with her ends in a fight/meltdown between myself and boyfriend, and it's often very childlike. He has basically told me that our relationship won't last if I don't confront her about the impact her actions have had on my life, and put a big boundary in place/temporarily go no contact. This isn't something he has said lightly at all, and has been after months of repeated situations. He fully understands the gravity of this decision. It's important to note that I now consider him my family, and he has been there for me more than anyone. I've known I need to do this for a while, but every time I think about it, I feel that same feeling of abandonment. I also feel very guilty, because whilst she doesn't think everything is perfect, she will be very caught off guard. I'm also scared that she will, more than likely, be very upset, and then I again will be the one comforting her. How do I deal with doing this, when my inner child is just happy to have her in my life now? Has anyone done this and come back from it, i.e. gone on to have a relationship with the parent later down the line? Comment. Could you explain a bit more about why interacting with her mother leads to a fight, or meltdown, with your boyfriend? It sounds like she triggers you. I've come up with the term co-reactive to describe relationships where people trigger one another and things escalate. It's normal that people don't understand when you pull back. If it was something that you could talk about reasonably, you wouldn't have to pull back. Setting boundaries is one thing, but I don't like the fact your boyfriend is demanding a confrontation here. If he wants to yell at her, nothing's stopping him. But you already know having it out like this isn't going to prompt any self-reflection or improvement on your mom's part, or make you feel better, so why is he prioritizing his idea of how this should go down over what's actually going to work for you? That said, your mom knows darn well all the stuff she's done that might make people, even family, upset or not want to be around her. If she's shocked at being held accountable, even in a low-key I will only talk to you on my timetable and terms way, that's because she refuses to acknowledge or accept the natural consequences of her actions. You don't owe her comfort for choosing to live in denial until someone forces her to face reality. You need to choose either your mother, I use the term lightly, or your partner. You can't have both. And that's actually a good thing because I think you know which one of those two people actually had your best interests in mind.